All right, so boom, yesterday I posted a video about how God does not want your calling to be a mystery. He wants you to know your calling, to understand your calling, and to live in your calling. So how do you find out what your calling is? Great question. So glad you asked. I believe it's a mix of natural gifts, spiritual gifts, and dreams, right? So your natural gifts are, what are the natural inclinations and natural talents and natural gifts that God gave you? Your spiritual gifts are, what is the spiritual gifts that God has given you, that he placed inside of you, that were birthed out of your spirit when you became a Christian. And then your dreams are like, what are the dreams that God has given you back when you were a little kid? Now, what are the dreams? And when you put all those things together, you start to see a clearer image of what your calling is and what God wants you to do with your life. So for instance, I was born into a musical family. I've been playing music for a long time. Wasn't always Christian music, but I've always been studying music. I studied classical piano when I was a kid. I studied jazz saxophone in college. I've been playing music my whole life. But then spiritual gifts, when I got saved, God really put a burden, a calling, a clarity in my heart that he wants these gifts to be used for the church, right? And for not just in church, but also worship music outside of the church, making worship music unto God for every area of your life, right? And then the dreams is like, I remember when I was a kid, I remember watching the worship leader at church, and this was even before I was saved. I had never like led worship before, and I was like, I'm gonna do that one day. And I was like 10, 11, 12, never done it before, never dreamed of doing it. It was just entered into my mind that one day I will do that. Didn't actually start leading worship until 10 or 15 years later, right? When I was in college. But I remember that dream, right? And I remember dreams that God has given me since. And so the natural gift is music. The spiritual gift is leadership. The dream is leading worship, creating worship music for God. And that's what I've been doing in my life for the past 15 years. And I'm glad to do it. So hope that helps.